Welcome back to the Flat Rate Tech podcast. There's been a lot of talk about the technician shortage lately, especially from the super lizard himself, the Ford CEO, whining about 6,000 less technicians they have, but they do nothing about it. So today we're going to spill all the beans. We're going to talk about the real reason why there's a technician shortage. And the reason why is because nobody wants to live like this anymore, okay? For years, this industry has been bleeding techs out one by one and acting surprised every time another bay goes empty. They call it a labor crisis. They'll say, nobody wants to work, but we've been working harder than ever. We're just done working for nothing. First off, warranty times are dropping, okay? Every year, the book gets lighter, but the cars get more complicated. Jobs that used to pay 2 hours now pay 1. 1 hour jobs now pay half an hour. You're diagnosing vehicles that took engineers to design, and we're getting paid like we're changing fucking wiper blades. Then there's backflagging. How many times have you been backflagged for something that wasn't even your fault? A bad part, a service advisor screw up, a warranty rep trying to save numbers somehow, and it always lands on you. You get docked, your hours vanish, your management calls it accountability. They'll take away your time, your pay, and your motivation, all to protect a system that never protects you. Or them, for that matter. Think about it. And right when you're finally in a rhythm, working on a big job, staying focused, somebody walks from the service drive and says, "Hey, can you come and look at this real quick? I got to look at it. Can you come look at it?" That one line right there has killed more hours than broken bolts ever will. You're yanked off a job, you're halfway through, standing out in the sun with a customer trying to diagnose something you haven't even looked at yet. And half the time, it's not even your job. It's just look at it. Because apparently, techs are free labor now. And you know what? You do it. Right? You do it because you're a professional. You care. You don't want your advisor getting bitched at or your customer getting pissed off. But you lose time. You lose focus. And somehow you're still the one getting asked, why are your hours low? And I know we talk about this a lot. I know. Okay? It all has to be said. And it all has to be heard by somebody. Because if we don't keep saying it, they'll keep pretending that it's not happening, okay? So this shortage didn't just show up. It's been building for decades under bad pay plans, under fake team meetings, under every "we're a family here" speech that ended with another technician leaving. They call it a shortage, but it's really just consequences. You push people long enough, cheat them out of enough time, disrespect their work enough, they're going to walk. Not because they're lazy, because they're done being taken advantage of. And that's just what this shortage really is. It's not a lack of talent. It's a lack of trust, a lack of respect, and a lack of reason to stay. Plain and simple, you know? And you know what makes all this even worse is management still acts like they don't see it. They'll stand there with their arms crossed, shaking their heads, saying, "Oh man, good techs are hard to find these days." Yeah, no shit. Maybe stop running off the ones you already had. It's wild how they can look right in an empty bay, see how long their wait times are, how backed up the schedule is, and still convince themselves that it's a people problem, not a leadership problem. They'll say, "Oh, nobody wants to work anymore," while half their crew is doing the work of 2 people. They'll say, "We can't find anyone qualified," while paying less than what you can make boiling fucking french fries in the AC. They'll post job ads saying, "We're growing," when everyone in the shop knows 3 guys just fucking quit last month. They'll brag about record sales and hand out dollar store pizza, like it's a reward for fucking surviving another week there. You bring up pay, they'll say, "We'll look into it." You bring up broken tools and equipment, they'll say, "We're short on budget." You bring up burnout, they call it negativity. It's denial, plain and simple, because to admit there's a problem means admitting they're the problem. They'll say, "We just need to hire more people." No, you need to stop losing the people you already got. You don't plug a hole by pouring in more water, right? You fix the fucking leak. You got managers who's never flagged an hour in their life trying to motivate technicians with pep talks about teamwork and doing your part. You got service directors reading corporate bulletins and about retention while still pushing 10-hour days, 6 days a fucking week. You got owners acting like the tech shortage is some global mystery when it's literally happening inside of their own building. And here's the part that really gets in your head on purpose, okay? They'll pull you aside one-on-one and say, "I appreciate your hard work." They'll turn around and give you a raise to the guy who's never shows up on time but knows how to fucking kiss ass during the meetings, right? Kiss the fucking manager's ass. That's why morale dies. That's why good techs go quiet. Not because they stop caring, but because they learn nobody's listening anyways. And when those techs finally do quit, you can bet management is still going to act confused. "I don't know why he left. He seems fine." Yeah, he was fine until you broke him down one ignored fucking conversation at a time. And even if you do manage to hang on through the back flags, the low hours, the bad management, you start to realize something else, that there's no real path forward in this trade anymore. You come in young, hungry, ready to learn. You bust your ass, you buy all the tools, you stay late, you ask questions, you help the team, you think it's going to pay off down the line. There's some kind of ladder to climb. But the truth is, the higher you go, the smaller the ladder gets. You go from a lube tech to line tech, cool, right? More work, more stress, same bullshit. Then maybe one day you're a shop foreman or a team leader. Now you're babysitting 5 guys, putting out fires, chasing advisors, fighting management just to keep the shop running for a couple bucks more an hour. That's not a promotion, that's a trap, right? There's no structure, there's no roadmap. Every tech I've ever known had to figure it out the hard way. You learn what not to do by watching everybody else burn out, and train yourself because nobody else will. And if you're lucky enough to get a real mentor, it's not because the system provided it. It's because some old school tech took pity on you and decided to show you how to fucking survive. We used to talk about growing in the trade, right? Now it's just surviving the trade. Nobody's planning a career. They're just trying to make it through another pay period without getting blamed for something. We're going to go deep. There's no long-term vision from the top either. They'll spend millions on new buildings, flashy signs, digital scheduling tools, but ask them to invest in training or mentorship, apprenticeship programs, and suddenly it's not in the budget. You know? They want master techs, but they don't want to pay for mastery. They want leadership, but they don't want to listen. They want loyalty, but they offer nothing to be loyal to. That's why new techs don't stay. It's not because they're lazy or weak. It's because they see it right away. You know? They look around and see guys 20 years in still getting jerked around, still fighting for time, still buying their own damn scan tools. You know? And they realize this isn't a career, it's a fucking treadmill. So they leave. They go work fleet, independent, heavy diesel, anything with a straight check and less bullshit. And management acts shocked, again, because they thought a couple fucking fancy t-shirts and signs and a pizza party was enough to keep people around. There's no path forward, no mentorship, no real raises, no future that doesn't involve burnout. And until that changes, this fucking shortage they keep talking about is just gonna... It's just the sound of techs walking out one by one. And we're going deep. We're going. This industry. This is something that nobody talks about either. Has a image problem. Every commercial, every trade school ad, every careers in the automotive industry video looks the same. It's all clean uniforms, smiling techs, shiny bays, and background music that makes it sound like it's some kind of dream job. And they show a guy tapping away on a tablet like he's fucking running NASA. They say, join a growing industry. Yeah, it's growing all right. It's growing in burnout, turnover, and it's growing in tech saying, fuck this, and walking away. That's what it's growing in, you know? They market this job like it's still 1990. Back when you could still build a life off of this trade. When you could afford a house, raise a family, and feel proud to say you were a mechanic. Now, they want you to do the same job with triple the technology and half the pay and none of the respect. They tell kids it's a great hands-on career, but they don't mention the part where you're on flat rate making $14 an hour because this career is basically a gamble. Or the part where you're expected to buy $50,000 in tools just to be considered prepared. They don't show the tech with the busted knuckles, dirty uniforms, and a broken scan tool from 2012 because management won't buy a new one. They don't talk about standing in the heat, freezing in the winter, or trying to hit hours with half the fucking bays tied up waiting for parts. Back order parts. They don't show the burnout, the stress, the mental load of diagnosing cars that are basically fucking rolling computers while management still treats you like a fucking parts changer and pays you like one too. You never see that version in the brochures. You never hear that version in the career fairs because that version doesn't sell. And the thing is, it's not that we're ashamed of the work. We're proud of it, right? We make cars and trucks live again. We fix what other people can't. We save customers' asses by knowing what the hell we're doing and repairing their cars. But the industry stopped respecting that. They turned it into a numbers game, a sales funnel, a customer satisfaction survey. And now they can't figure out why nobody wants in. You can't recruit the next generation of technicians while the generation that exists now is still getting screwed. You can't fill all the schools out there when every working technician is out here saying, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Find something else. And that's what's happening. The word's out. Techs are They're warning their kids, their friends, their nephews. Don't waste your life in this trade unless something changes. And that's why the fucking pipeline's drying up, dude. It's not because people don't want to work with their hands. It's because they've seen what happens to the people that do, right? So, yeah, the image, the career, the image, they make it look good on paper. But if you walk into any real shop, and you'll see the truth. Overworked, underpaid, and one bad pay plan away from walking out. That's just about every single fucking tech. That's not a career, that's a slow bleed. And until they fix that image from the inside, no shiny ad or career fair speech is going to fill those bays. And now, here we are. This is what it's turned into. Shops running on skeleton crews. You walk into work and half the bays are empty. Not because there's no work. There's plenty of work, usually. Unless it's slow. But it's because there's nobody left to do the work. Guys have quit, others burned out, and the rest are just hanging on out of fear. Every day feels like a survival test. You're juggling new tech comebacks. You're waiting on parts. You're doing the job of 2 people every day, while the service manager's in the office talking about efficiency. You can't keep up, and somehow you're still the one getting blamed when the fucking hours are low. They'll say, we just need to find a few more good techs. Yeah, good luck with that, dude. You run off all the ones that were good, and the rest are on, one bad week away from quitting. You got service drives booked, solidly booked schedules, customers pissed off about waiting times, and management walking around like everything's fine. They call it a temporary staffing issue, but we've been temporarily fucking short-staffed for years, right? It's gotten to the point where every tech left in the shop is stretched so thin that it's dangerous. There's no time for lunch. There's no time for training. There's no time to slow down and do things right because everybody's trying to keep the numbers up, keep the advisor quiet. That's not a shop. That's a pressure cooker. And it's not just one place. It's everywhere. You talk to techs across different brands, across different states. It's the same story every time. Everybody's short-staffed, burned out, and there's no end in sight. I've seen dealerships with 15 bays and 5 technicians. I've seen express departments with 1 technician, and he's doing all the oil changes while management's wondering why tickets are piling up. And that's just not sustainable. And they just say, oh, we're doing the best we can. No, we, the technicians, are doing the best we can. You're just watching it happen from your fucking office. And they throw in hiring bonus at new techs like it's going to fix something. But nobody sticks around when they see the truth. You can't buy loyalty with a signing bonus. You earn it with fair pay, respect, and leadership. None of which this industry's been given out lately, okay? None at all. I ain't done with this one yet. So what happens? The good techs start slowing down. Not because they don't care. It's because they're tired of carrying the whole fucking shop. They're tired of training new guys who quit in 3 months. They're tired of seeing promises get broken, pay plans change, and fucking hours get dropped. And when the last few finally leave, the managers fucking act shocked again. Man, I don't know why we can't keep people. Because you built your whole fucking operation on the idea that everyone would just fucking keep taking it. Now you've got 5 guys doing the work of 10, and the phones keep ringing, customers keep showing up, and corporate keeps saying, maximize efficiency, make more numbers. That's what the shortage really looks like. Not a numbers chart. It's exhausted technicians, half-staffed fucking shops, broken promises, and a constant feeling that something's about to give. Because it is. It's gonna. And now that they've run out of people, they're in full-blown hiring desperation mode. I mean, you've seen it. The ads are everywhere, right? Top pay for the right tech. $5,000 sign-on bonus. Immediate openings for all levels. What does that mean? We've burned through everybody local and we're getting fucking desperate. Okay? We've been breaking down job ads for a few fucking episodes. It's like a bad used car commercial. It's all hype, no honesty. Because they don't fix the real problem. They just throw money at the front door hoping nobody looks at what's going on inside. They'll hand out fucking sign-on bonuses, relocation pay, referral money, anything to get bodies in the bays. But the second you're in, the shine wears off fast. You find out the bonus is broken up over 12 months. The pay plan isn't what they promised, and the culture is the same old shut up and flag hours fucking bullshit. They don't want to fix the system. They just want to patch it long enough to get through the next quarter. You see it all the time. They poach technicians from other shops, promise them the world, then act shocked when the same techs that they poached leave 6 months later. Because guess what? If you have to bribe somebody to come work for you, they're not going to stay. The good techs know better by now. They've been burned too many times. They've heard the same "we're different here" speech from 3 different managers at 3 different shops. They've watched pay plans change mid-year, seen fucking promises disappear, and learned the hard way that if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And it's just another fucking shop like the other 3. And you can always tell when a shop's desperate. They start promoting whoever's left in the shop to lead tech, or shop foreman, just to look stable on paper. And the guy who trained him last week quit. It's chaos. But they still tell corporate everything's operating normally. Then they start pulling techs from other departments. The express kids now fucking doing breaks. The line techs covering all the diagnostics and recalls. And everybody's stretched thin, and nobody's actually trained for the roles that they're in. But management doesn't care. As long as the tickets keep closing, they'll keep pretending everything's fine. It's the same pattern over and over. Short-staffed, overworked, underpaid, then desperate hiring instead of just fixing the reasons people left in the first place. You can't build a stable crew when everyone's always one bad month away from quitting. You can't fix culture with a fucking sign-on bonus. And you sure as hell can't build loyalty with fucking lies. So they'll keep hiring. Techs will keep leaving, and the cycle will keep spinning until somebody finally stops pretending this is a staffing issue and admits it's a leadership issue. And here's the part that really ought to scare every manager and dealer in the country. Okay? The experienced technicians are leaving, not retiring, leaving. The guys who built these shops, the ones who could diagnose anything, mentor anybody, and keep the place from burning down. They're done. They left. They're walking out mid-career, mid-week, mid-shift. Then they're not looking back. These are the people who used to hold the line when everything went sideways, when The ones who knew how to fix cars and fix the chaos in the shop, but after years of being ignored, underpaid, and blamed for things that they didn't do, they've had enough. They watch their warranty times all get cut. They watch green new techs get thrown in the deep end with no support. They've trained the next generation of technicians for free, only to watch management take credit for developing talent, you know? And somewhere along the line, they just stopped caring. Not about the work. They still love the work. They stopped caring about the fight. You can only keep hitting your head against a wall so long before you realize the wall's not fucking moving. So these techs are choosing peace, fleet jobs, independent shops even, aviation, heavy diesel, utilities, HVAC. Anywhere with a clock in, clock out, check and a straight answer. No flag sheets, no comebacks pinned on them, no meetings about attitude, just honest work for honest pay. And the sad part, a lot of them don't even want to leave, but they just can't afford to keep staying because loyalty doesn't pay the mortgage and team player doesn't fill a fucking toolbox full of tools. When the best guys in the shop start checking out mentally, that's when you know it's over. It's fucking over. They stop volunteering to help. They stop mentoring. They stop speaking up in meetings because they've learned it doesn't matter what you say. They're just trying to make it to Friday without being dragged into another fucking why are your hours down meeting. Then one day, their bay is empty. Their toolbox is gone. There's no announcement, no notice, no goodbyes, just gone. And everybody acts shocked, like nobody saw it coming. But every tech in that shop, they saw it coming. Because they all thought about doing the same fucking thing. That's a real shortage. Not a lack of students. Not a lack of job applicants. It's a lack of reasons for veteran technicians to stay. And once those guys leave, the ones who actually know how to lead, know how to train, and hold standards, the whole fucking structure collapses. Because you can't replace 20 years of experience with a $5,000 sign-on bonus. You can't fill that gap with apprentices when there's nobody left to teach them. That's what's happening right now all across the country. Shops are losing the people that kept the shops running, and they're trying to replace them with kids who haven't even finished paying for their fucking toolboxes. It's not their fault. They were set up to fail before they even fucking started. So yeah, the old guys, they're leaving. Not because they hate the work, it's because the system stopped respecting the people who do it right. Then you got the new wave. The young techs coming in, bright-eyed, motivated, ready to work. You can see the spark in them, right? They show up early, they ask questions, they want to learn, they want to be part of something. They want this to mean something, just like I did when I first started. Read my book, Flat Rate Life. You've probably been through the same shit. But the system they're walking into, it's broken before they even touch a fucking wrench. They start off strong, right? Wide open, trying to prove themselves. Then they realize how it really works. They see the pay doesn't match the work. They see top guys in the shop getting screwed. The mid-level guys quitting. The foreman's burned out. They see techs fighting over work, arguing with advisors. begging for fucking time. Begging for time to diagnose cars, half the diag time pays less than a fucking oil change. And somewhere around month 6, you can see it hit them. Okay, that look. Is this really it? Look, that's when you lose them, okay? They stop smiling, they stop asking questions, they start clocking in late, leaving early, and they're looking for something else. These new techs didn't fail, they were failed. They were sold a dream, a career in the automotive industry, and they walked into a fucking nightmare. They were told, work hard and you'll move up, but there's nowhere to move up to. They were told, you'll make great money, but nobody mentioned the tool debt, the slow weeks, or the warranty jobs that pay half of what they should. They were told, you're going to have support, you're going to have mentorship, but all the guys who used to train new hires, they're gone. So now these techs are getting tossed keys and ROs and told, you'll figure it out. And when they mess up, they get backflagged, yelled at, and blamed. How long do you think someone's going to put up with that shit, Man. They're not lazy. They're not entitled. They just don't see a future in this. They're smart enough to look at the old guys 20 years in, beat down, broke down, and still fighting for hours. And they look at them and they say, I ain't going to be me. And honestly, you can't even blame them. Because what are we offering them? A career that looks like chaos, a shop where turnover never stops, a job where doing everything right still gets you treated like you're the fucking problem. So they do what anybody else with fucking sense would do. They fucking bounce, dude. They go learn HVAC, welding, fleet work, or they go online and start selling shit from their house, Anything but flat rate. And every time one of them leaves, the shop loses more than a body. They lose potential. They lose a chance to fix the future, because that kid could have been a great tech. Could have been the one to carry it forward, But instead he walked out before the trade could fucking kill his spirit, take his soul. That's the new wave. Eager, skilled, capable, but they're not blind. They're not stupid. They see what's happening, and they're not going to stick around long enough to get fucking eaten up by it. You guys wanted longer episodes. This one, we're just going to call everything out. So we're going to keep going. Y'all better share this shit, all right? And another thing that really pisses me off is the way the industry has been spinning it. Every time a new article drops about the technician shortage, it's the same recycled quotes from the same types of lizard people and trade school representatives and corporate spokesperson. Some dealership executives standing next to a fucking $2 million service fucking department waiting room. Oh, we're committing to solving the technician crisis. Yeah, by talking about it again, they'll go on camera and act surprised like this shortage just fucking showed up in the morning out of nowhere. But the truth is, it didn't happen overnight. It happened one ignored tech at a time. They'll say it's a skills gap. No, it's a respect gap. They'll say young people don't want to work. No, they don't want to get used. We need to recruit more students. How about keeping the ones you already have? Why are they leaving? It's always the same playbook. They shift the blame down, keep the PR clean, tell everyone the future looks bright, while the bays are fucking half empty. Trade schools, they love to feed that message too. They say, come learn a valuable trade, 6-figure potential. Yeah, if you're a fucking unicorn in a perfect shop with perfect dispatch and, no comebacks, everything just goes smooth. They'll hand out, those places will hand out diplomas and photo ops, and then they'll send these kids straight into flat rate hell with a smile and a fucking Snap-on catalog, Meanwhile, the manufacturers act like they're above it all. They're cutting warranty times. They're loading technicians up with recalls, and they're pretending the technician shortage is a dealer level issue. They'll blame technician retention like it's a fucking buzzword, while they keep slashing the very hours those techs depend on to live. Then, you got the industry podcasters and YouTubers, the ones who've been out of the bays for 10 years talking about technician engagement like they just discovered it. They'll sit around on video calls and videos and they'll say, oh, we just need to make this industry cool again. No, man. We need to make it livable again. All this talk, all these initiatives, and not one of them is willing to say the real truth out loud. The system is broken. Flat rate is broken. And you can't fix a shortage by pretending everything's fine. You don't see anybody actually interviewing actual technicians about it. You don't see the guy in the back of the shop being asked how it feels to watch another coworker quit. Because if they did, they'd have to admit it, that they caused it. They'd have to admit that this shortage isn't a mystery. It's a consequence. So the headlines will keep coming. The shortage continues. Shops desperate for skilled technicians. No shit, dude. We've been screaming it for years. They just didn't want to listen because fixing it would mean changing how they treat us. You want to fix the shortage. You don't need a panel, a discussion, or another fake fucking technician appreciation week. You need to fix the real reasons why people quit, okay? Oh, we're getting into it. Let's start with the obvious. The obvious is pay. And to those retards out there on podcasts saying techs don't quit because of pay, it shows how retarded you actually are, okay? You should be on that fucking boat with that other retard going in the fucking war zones, okay? Go back to the fucking used car lot and work in the dirt, alright? Pay is number one. Stop trying to squeeze every tenth out of every job. Stop cutting hours to make your reports look good. Stop pre-flagging work at the end of the month before the technician even fucking does it. Stop making techs fight each other for the same scraps. Pay people for their time, all their time. If a tech spends an hour diagnosing a nightmare intermittent problem, that's work, that's value. That's what that keeps your shop's reputation alive. Then, after that, fix your training and mentorship. Okay, you can't expect new techs to succeed when you give them broken, shitty equipment and no guidance, or you give them a lead technician that's already fucking burnt out. He doesn't want nothing to deal with that shit. You can't. If you want people to stick around, you got to invest in them. Make training part of the job, not something they have to beg for. Pair every new tech with someone who actually gives a damn, and pay that mentor for the time they spend teaching. Okay. Another one, leadership. And I don't mean more managers. Got enough managers. I mean actual leaders. People who understand what it's like to be in a bay with a broken scan tool and, no parts in the parts department. People who know how to motivate technicians without threats, and how to earn respect without hiding behind policies. Every shop has at least one person that everybody trusts. That's who should be leading, not the guy who looks best on paper. There's no respect not the fake kind where they hang up a poster that says, "Our techs are the heart of the dealership." Real respect. Like not yanking a technician off a job to go look at something real quick. Like listening when they say a process is broken. Like admitting when management screws up instead of dumping it on the technicians. Respect doesn't cost money. It takes humility. So start having that. And while we're at it, cut the flat rate bullshit. Stop pretending it's a motivational system. It's a lottery. It rewards shortcuts and punishes teamwork. It burns people out and it breaks shops apart. You want consistency? Give techs a base pay they can depend on and then add an incentive on top. Not the other way around. You'll see morale just fucking shoot through the roof, okay? You'll see productivity go up because people won't be working scared and afraid anymore. This industry, it loves to overcomplicate things, but the solution's simple. Treat people like people, not line items on your sheet, not production units, not a number on a report. You fix pay, you fix training, you fix leadership, you fix respect, you'll fix retention. And once you fix retention, you'll fix the shortage because people will actually want to stay. But as long as it's easier to print out job ads than fix what's broken, nothing's going to change. You can't recruit your way out of neglect. You can't market your way out of disrespect. You can't rebuild a trade on lies and burnout. So, if you really want to fix it, start with this, okay? Go back in your shop, look at your techs, ask them what's wrong, and this time actually listen. Do that. They keep calling it a technician shortage, like it's some random accident. It just happened. Like nobody could have seen it coming. But we saw it, right? We've been watching it for years. Every back flag, every unpaid job, every hour they took away, every good tech that left because they couldn't take it anymore. We saw it coming, and we said something. They just didn't want to hear it. They call it a shortage, but it's not a shortage. It's a reckoning. It's the bill coming due after decades of taking advantage of the people who kept this whole damn industry running. This isn't about not enough students. It's not about changing technology. It's about respect. It's the kind of respect that's been missing for so long that people actually finally stopped waiting for it. Because this shortage, it's not random. It's earned. You can only grind down so many people before the system starts grinding itself down. You can't treat techs like they're disposable, then act surprised when nobody wants to be a fucking tech. You can't ignore the burnout, the bad pay, the broken promises, and then cry, nobody wants to work here anymore. What you're seeing now, the empty bays, the long wait times, the revolving doors of fucking employees, that's not a mystery. That's what happens when good people finally stop putting up with it. They call it a shortage. I call it a warning. A warning that this trade can't survive on pride alone. Okay? A warning that the next generation, they're not going to play by the same rules. A warning that you can only silence techs for so long before they start walking. And when they walk, they don't come back. So they can keep calling it a shortage. Keep printing the headlines and pretending that you don't know why there's a shortage. But we know. Every tech listening to this knows. Every one of us who's been through the bullshit, the lies, the burnout, we know. And maybe one day, somebody up top will finally realize we weren't the problem. We were the fucking warning signs. And before we wrap this up, there's one more thing that needs to be said. And yeah, this is for all the CEOs, the podcasters, the YouTubers. All you guys that flipped sides and started selling this industry back to the same people that it's breaking, you know exactly who you are, okay? The ones sitting behind the cameras and microphones talking about how great the trade is, telling kids to get into it. There's so much opportunity. Yeah, opportunity for you. Because every time one of those kids signs up, they buy $10,000 worth of tools and walks into a flat rate fucking trap, you get paid. You're not helping this trade. You're selling it out. You're feeding the same machine that chews up the people you used to stand beside. And now you're getting sponsored to fucking do it. The same brands that underpay their techs are cutting checks to influencers to say this industry's fucking amazing. The opportunities are endless. Meanwhile, the guys who actually been in those shops are still waiting for a fucking pay raise since 2 years ago. You guys got out of the bays and forgot where you came from. You stopped speaking for techs and started speaking at them. You're making money off the same system that's driving people out and acting like it's some kind of mission to inspire the next generation, you know? Let's be real. You're not inspiring anybody. You're recruiting replacements. You're soft selling the same lie that burned the rest of us out. You're helping corporate paint over the cracks so they can keep cashing in, pretending everything's fucking fine. And the worst part is that you know this shit's broken. You've seen it. You lived it. But now that the checks are fucking coming in, it's easier to pretend that everything's fine. Easier to smile on camera and say it's all about mindset and ignore the fact that techs are out here barely fucking surviving. So yeah, keep telling the kids it's a great trade, okay? Keep saying you just have to love it. Because love's the only thing keeping people fucking here, and love doesn't pay the bills. You're part of the reason this shortage won't get better. You turned your platform into a billboard for the same companies screwing the people who made you. And one day, when those kids you inspired finally wake up and realize they got lied to, they're going to remember who told them that it was worth it. This trade doesn't need more cheerleaders. It needs truth tellers. It needs people who aren't scared to say what needs to be said out loud. That the system is broken and it's not the tech's fault. So to all the CEOs, all the brand reps, the fake shop mentors, the fucking YouTubers cashing checks off of fucking false hope, congratulations. You helped create the shortage. You helped sell the illusion. And you're still out here pretending why you don't understand that the bays are still empty. You don't get to play both sides, okay? You either stand with the people turning wrenches or you stand with the ones cashing in on their silence. So pick a side, because the rest of us already have. And that's all I got.